In cameras, a lens system focuses the light from an object to form an image on a camera sensor consisting of a 2D array of pixels. But what if there was a way to generate an image with a single detector, a single pixel? It doesn't seem possible. One way to do this is by scanning that point over the field of view, one point at a time, like a 3D LiDAR map. But there's actually another way to solve this problem, and it amazingly doesn't require any moving parts. I've always been fascinated by this idea, so I decided to build it. A 1-pixel camera that has no moving parts, just an LED matrix and a single photoresistor. The ideas in this video aren't new. They're all based on work in the field of compressed sensing using structured illumination. Before showing you the system I built, let's go over the concept. Imagine an object that's been illuminated with a unique pattern of light, and all the reflected light from the object is collected onto a single photodetector, making a single measurement. With a single measurement, there's no way to determine how much each of the points is contributing to the signal. But what if we then illuminated the object with a different pattern and made another measurement, and then another pattern, until we had a data set consisting of known illumination patterns and their corresponding single photodetector measurements. With this data, we're able to actually reconstruct images using the mathematical framework developed in compressed sensing. This concept of weights and orthogonal patterns, or basis sets, can be seen in many fields of engineering and computer science, from convolutional neural networks to sparse sampling and MRI and CT scans. I'll go over the math later in this video, but first I'd like to go over the system design and construction. The simplest implementation of single pixel cameras that I read about consisted of an LED matrix set up in a transmission configuration. So I purchased a 64 by 64 pixel Adafruit LED matrix controlled with a Raspberry Pi. It'd been a while since I used a Pi, so this ended up taking some time to actually figure out. I had these black bars running through the display, and there are a lot of forums talking about this. I followed them step by step. Sometimes it seemed like I got it working, and then the black bars would come back. I replaced a bunch of stuff, and then I realized this. A bad cable. It was such a bummer. With the LED matrix working, let's talk about the optics. The LED matrix is quite large, and I needed to get some light from each LED collected onto a single photodetector, which has a much smaller area. I ordered a large area photodiode module that I hoped would help. To understand the problem, it's helpful to look at a ray diagram. The system I built consists of 2 lenses from SLR cameras. These lenses consist of multiple elements to correct aberrations, and their prescriptions aren't usually available. But you can approximate their performance using a paraxial lens and aperture stop. The first lens demagnifies the LED matrix onto the object. The object blocks some of the light, and the goal is then to collect this light onto a single photodetector. We need a second lens to do this, but instead of re-imaging the LED matrix, the second lens images the aperture stop of the first lens. You can tell from the ray diagram that this is the position at which the light from all the different LEDs overlaps. Because the light footprint increases after the first lens, it's also important to have a large diameter lens close to the object to begin focusing the light down as soon as possible. I added a plano-convex lens to do this. It's essentially acting as what is called a field lens. Once I had a rough idea of the concept and the optics, it was time to start designing some mounts for the system. 3D printed optical mounts can be a little concerning, but I knew that if I had some active alignment steps, I could probably make it work. I found a remarkable 3D printable translation stage designed by Remy Raphael, which ended up being critical for the photodetector alignment. Links for that design are below. After 3D printing everything, I started to assemble the system and checked for rough alignment. This took a few iterations, but I arrived at an optical mounting scheme that worked well enough for what I needed. Here's the optical train, starting with the LED matrix, the first lens, which is a 28mm f2.8 Nikon lens. I just have one pattern being displayed right now. That pattern is focused onto the object. I have this little slit here for placing really thin objects that I 3D printed here. It's just a few examples. So the object gets placed here, and then the collection optics are right here. This is the first field lens, another Nikon lens that then focuses the light down onto the photodetector right here, and the output is going to an Arduino. We're now getting a better view of the object plane. You can see that first lens focusing the pattern down onto the object. The object is then blocking some of that light that's eventually going to make it onto the detector. It's a little out of view right here, but it's right behind that other lens. You can see some of that light passing through here. Here's a view of the photodetector plane. I've got a photoresistor glued in place on this XY translation mount to ensure that it lines up with the light coming from that collection lens. You may be wondering, where's that photodiode module? Well, I'll talk about that in just a little bit. This photoresistor ended up working better for what I was trying to do. If I get a card in here, you'll be able to see the light converging right at a position conjugate to the aperture stop of that first lens. You can actually see it's in the shape of the aperture stop of the first lens. It is an image of it. And if I back this card up, remember that that pattern had two horizontal bars. Well, they're not overlapping if it's not at that position. If I adjust the aperture of that first lens, you can see the spot getting smaller. Before building any of this, I worked on simulating the reconstruction using the simplest reconstruction method I could find. This animation explains how it works using a display consisting of 8 by 8 pixels. The display is illuminating a red circle with 64 different patterns. As the patterns change, the photodetector measurement for this object is being plotted in the red trace. Remember that signal corresponds to all the light passing through the circle. I'm also keeping track of the illumination intensity at the blue and green pixels, the series of 1s and 0s here. Let's say we want to determine the value of the green pixel in the reconstructed image. We take the LED value at those positions for every pattern, multiply it by the measurement array, and then take the sum. The procedure is then repeated for every pixel. An important question is then, what is the best set of illumination patterns to use? How can we minimize the number of patterns required to form an image? A common set of patterns used are called Hadamard matrices. If a display consists of n by n pixels, then there are n squared Hadamard patterns. So there are 4,096 patterns for the 64 by 64 LED matrix I have. But you don't need all of them to reconstruct an image. And this is where compressed sensing becomes even more impressive. The minimum number of patterns required to make a decent reconstruction may be fewer patterns than pixels in the output image. It's pretty amazing. Technically, the concept can work with any set of illumination patterns, but they should be chosen well. For example, consider this 32 by 32 pixel test object. Here's the Hadamard reconstruction after using 1,024 patterns. And here's the result using the same number of random patterns. It just looks like noise. What about 10,000 patterns? Still nothing. With 1 million random patterns, you can just start to make out the structure of the object. Hadamard matrices form an orthogonal basis, meaning the spatial information in each pattern tells us something unique about the object. This makes a huge difference in the efficiency of the reconstruction. Alright, let's get back to the prototype. When I first started collecting data with the fully built system, I ran into an engineering black hole with this photodiode module. The signal out of the module was too low to register as counts for the Arduino. This could be a longer story, but I'll try to keep it short. First, my oscilloscope stopped working, so I had to fix that. I added an amplifier and rectifier after the output of the module to deal with this low signal square wave output from the photodiode module. But I was always battling against gain and dynamic range, and I'm not an electrical engineer. I was fixated on solving the problem of getting the photodiode module to work instead of the real problem, getting the single pixel camera working. This happens all the time in engineering projects. I assume I needed a unique part for my system to work, but I didn't really justify it with any specifications. Sometimes things just work out for one-off builds, but sometimes you get stuck like this. I was also guilty of running an entire data collection as soon as I made some small improvement. The data collection takes a long time with all these patterns, and it's a terrible diagnostic. How could I possibly know what's wrong with bad constructions that look like this? It could be anything with the system. The smarter thing would have been to figure out better diagnostic tests, but I just couldn't help having this blind hope that maybe, just maybe, everything would come together this time. Eventually I realized I really needed to just try another detector. So I switched it out with the only thing I had, a single photoresistor in series with another resistor to adjust the voltage swing. I waited a long time to try this, partly because I had the feeling that the setup would just be too simple to work. So I was surprised when I immediately started measuring a reasonable linear response. I should have started with the simplest solution I wasn't 100% sure wouldn't work. A bit more work was needed to get the triggering between the Pi and Arduino working with callback functions, but I knew I was on the right path when the reconstruction started to resemble the simple objects I had put in the system. And then I loaded this object mask. I watched the Hadamard patterns passing through to the detector, the measurements streaming. I copied the data, ran the reconstruction, and I saw this. I have never been happier to see the number 5 in my entire life. This is a picture taken with 1 pixel. I tested out the other samples I 3D printed, and the system consistently was providing beautiful reconstructions. Sure, the images are limited in resolution, the object's not particularly interesting, but when I think that I don't have a 2D sensor in this camera, I feel pretty awestruck by the result. Watch as the reconstructions get better and better as more measurements are included. It's amazing to see the features of the image begin to appear even when there are fewer measurements than there are pixels in the image. Pretty cool. Next, I'm planning to try color and reflected compressed sensing camera using some objects from around the apartment. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.